welcome to another episode of Badgers Heavy Hitters. I got Sandman with me here today because we got, one of them high-profile cases kicking off, and I need to make sure that my safety is good. Isaac, my man, is that what you go by on the Cayes, though?
No, I used to go by Sticks. That was my nickname.
Right.
But yeah, everybody knows me by Isaac.
And that's because you're a drummer for Rush, or you're fast on your feet? Which one?
Both.
Usually one of the two. My boy Sticks, rest in paradise. Thank God for him at one time. Yeah, we were in the county together. But anyway, hey, man, you sort of got an amazing story. Like you told me that you're a man of faith. And so people usually wait till they get to be my age to go into the faith thing. You know what I mean? Like they're like, hey, I'm at the ass end of this. I better figure something out. And at which point, once somebody starts to have some faith in something other than themselves, there's a whole new freedom to it, like, as
Yes, sir.
And I used to tell people consistently, hey, if you don't believe in God, I'll bet you go to the gang module and start praying. You know what I mean? One way or the other, you're praying up there. Either you're praying Preying or Praying, up there, it's usually the Prey, but, speaking of the gang module, so you seem to know Los Angeles County pretty well, too. We have a similar story as far as pro-per goes. And I don't know about you, but that's the one thing they didn't really screw with me too much on was when I went pro-per, they did give me full access to the law library. I mean, it would get cut sometimes or this and that, but I wouldn't always get my time to the T, but they made sure I got my time in the law library. How did that work out for you? Anyway, I'm jumping ahead here. I'm jumping way ahead here, actually. Isaac, please introduce yourself.
My name is Isaac Pedroza. I'm 41 years old. I was born in General Hospital, which is like, I don't know what that is. East LA, Boyle Heights, Lincoln Heights, I think. Lived there till I was about 6 or 7. Then I moved to Monterey Park and then to Rosemead, which is where I was raised. I'm an ex-gang member. I'm still, connected to my homies in many different ways. But, as you said, I'm a man of faith. I ride for Jesus now, man. And that's pretty much it. They used to know me as Sticks.
Jesus gang.
Sticks from Lomas. That was my alias and where I was from.
You're from Lomas? Right on.
And I live out here now in the beautiful Imperial Valley, which is desert. It, by Calapat Prison, Centinela Prison.
Hey, the lizards carry those sticks and set them down, huh?
Yeah, they creep in your house too, bro. I got them little traps, and they creep. Sometimes you see lizards on there, and crazy, man. But yeah, I got married in 2015 to my beautiful wife, Dalia Pedrosa. I have a 2.5-year-old son, Isaac Gabriel Pedroza. And that's pretty much it, man. Here we are.
So, all right. So you say you're an ex-gang member. We always know, like, it's always in your heart at some point. And I don't mean the gang banging. I mean the camaraderie that we join for, you know what I mean? In my case, it wasn't so much camaraderie as it was protection or whatever. Like, we looked out for each other regardless, you know what I mean? And that's the same thing with, that's the same gang mentality, I'll say, like, it's do or die.
He's in Frisco right now, so we don't really got to worry about it.
Yeah, he was in Frisco. We don't want to bother him. I'm up here in Australia with the Northern Lights, I like it. So, listen, man, I'm not going to tell your story for you. I'm going to let you do that, because you got a miraculous story, bro. And with what you've been through and where you're at today, you know what I mean? Like, that takes an act of faith, Yeah, you got an amazing story, bro. I'm going to go ahead and let you jump in there and get to, running it yourself. How's that?
Okay. So, just briefly, a brief background. I started gangbanging at the age of 9. I was already backing up my neighborhood, as you say. I got jumped in when I was around 12 years old. And from that point forward, man, like you said, that's basically all all I knew as far as life, man, was the hood. I put that before family, before my mom, before everything. Not that I didn't care about them, but I cared more about the hood. And I was in and out of juvenile hall, camps, placements, group homes, you name it, man. And then I went into the LA County Jail at the age of 16. I gave them I gave them an alias, and that's how I slid. You know, back then they didn't have the what they have. Yeah. So they couldn't even figure that out. So that's how I kind of slipped through. So I was in the county, man, in 1994. You already know it was pretty hectic back in them days, man. And you know, I went to prison in 1995, December 1995, at the age of 17.
That was your first barbecue, right?
That was my first barbecue. From the gate, man, it was pretty active, man. I went to the hole from reception. We kicked off a riot. It was, unfortunately, it was against the Woodpile.
Yeah.
That's you know what I mean? Long story, but
we didn't want to watch Telemundo.
Yeah, yeah. It was you know, I'm not gonna get into the details, but usually we're pretty much united in there, but it was some stuff going on. We got into it, we all went. It was some good solid dudes, man, that were, you know, but we went to the hole, stayed there for about another 6 months, points shot up, went to Calipat. That was my first prison.
Delano,
yeah.
Delano?
Delano, I was in the hole, yeah, ADSEG.
Yeah.
I was in D yard, C yard. C yard is where we got into the riot. Went to the hole, D6. Went to
C yard. That's dorms, right?
Dorm living, yeah.
Yeah. And then D5 is like death row type deal.
D5 is a lifer building.
Yeah, lifer building.
Yep. Death row, like you said, all that.
Yeah.
And then D6 is the hole, I'd say.
Yeah. So
right. Yeah, from there I went to Calipat, level 4, and then well, it was a level 4, and it was transitioning to a level 3. I wasn't there long. I only had a 2-year term, and then I paroled.
Right to a 4-year on a 2-year term.
Yeah, I was 17, but it was a good. You know, I mean, it was a good learning experience, man. I'm glad I went through that because I picked up some, you know. From that point, I had a J number, J87430. From that point forward, I went to prison a bunch of times, man, and that was pretty much it, man. Leading up to what we'll probably discuss more,
right.
Is a murder case that I fought, and just a quick little rundown on that. I paroled from New Corcoran, from the 180 in New Corcoran in January 1st, 2008, after doing 4 years. And my mentality then was I wanted to do good, man. I was tired of the life. I wasn't walking with God yet, but I didn't really know how to go about it. But in my mind, I wanted to do good already. You know what I'm saying? I reached that point. And I had a 602 CDC or CDCR because they didn't want to let me move to San Bernardino County. They wanted me to stay in LA County.
Because that's where you busted, so they wanted you to parole there. And
you know the deal.
They don't want to work with us at all. Let me ask you real quick, you know, so you went in and did what you're supposed to do at your age. You know what I mean? You went in and, you know, causing hell, bro. Nothing to do. Let's get into a riot. Nothing to do. Let's go jump, homeboy. You know that from your age to 29. You know what I mean? You're supposed to be active. You know, steady. So, did you? How do I say this? Were you given any opportunities to decide on your own that this life ain't for me, or did you? Because it was not a fear that you decided to find a God. I know that. Well, there was a gang of fear involved in there because of the case, obviously. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't have some healthy fear, you're not going to survive in LA, in, you know, California, you know, prisons, period. It sucks. My camera's down here, and I keep looking down, so it looks like I'm nodding or something. But I'm looking up at it. So, like you weren't given any kind of classes before coming home, or did they give you re-entry programs or nothing?
Nah, heck no, not back then. Back then, especially, you already know there ain't no. They hadn't put the R in CDC yet.
Right?
But even if they did,
They still haven't.
yeah, even yeah, they still haven't. But even if they did, I mean, I know they got some more programs now, which I got some homies that are involved in them, which is good for a lot of lifers, specifically for lifers, man. It's good for parole purposes and all that.
For
But
sure.
but even if they did back then, you already know, man. That, like you said, my mind was activity. You know what I mean? Gang banging and you know, the whole South Side or Sureño thing. That's what it was all about, man. And you know, so my mind, I wasn't there. I wasn't there quite yet, man. It took a long time, man. A lot of pain and suffering, bro, to get to the point where I'm at now. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, man, for sure. I feel you. You know, a lot of lonely, fucking degrading nights in those cells, man. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know about you, but I never been more lonely in my life, bro. So I had to invite a God into it. You know what I mean? Just to have a partner to kick it with, you know?
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, I never knock, or, you know, anybody that's got a God, it never. And I don't care what their God is, as long as they find something kind and loving, you know? Because that's not what we were to each other. That's not what we were to ourselves, was kind and loving, you know? Um, I often say that if somebody treated me the way I treated me back then, I ought to take them out of the box. You know what I mean? So, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Just you kick off a lot of things in my mind. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I go back to that moment, that play. You know what I mean? Like, here in Los Angeles County, young essays like yourself are just lining up to go to prison, bro. Like, for the barrio, homie. You know what I mean? So por vida is what you're gonna be doing. You know what I mean? People don't realize California ain't playing with us, bro. They don't give a
They
shit.
don't get it. They don't get it, bro. They don't. The thing is, nobody tells you, bro. Nobody tells you when you sign up for this that you're probably gonna die for the neighborhood, or that you're gonna probably do life or a gang of time, or you're gonna go to jail for something you didn't do because you don't want to snitch. There's a lot of factors that play into it, and for the most part, you don't really. You might have one or two homies, good solid dudes that want to lead you in the right direction, but for the most part, you know what I mean? They don't tell you all these things, bro. And I think that's the main uh, reason that, you know, we end up in these situations, bro. Because if we were told these things, you might think twice about it, man. You know, that's why I'm here, actually. That's why I'm here, so that hopefully some of these young guys, or even they don't have to be young, but they just so they can get a perspective, bro, where they can um, hopefully be dissuaded from living. There ain't no good coming out of that life, man. The only thing that came out good that I still have is, like you said earlier, the camaraderie, that connection you have with some of your homeboys, or your the people you grew up
You
with.
learn what loyalty is. You learn what respect is. You learn like, respect out here and respect in there are two different things entirely, bro. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to bump into somebody out here to say, I mean, in there to say, excuse me, you know what I mean? Like, if you're just getting within his space, you're saying, you know, compromiso or whatever, excuse me, homie, you know what I mean? Like, out here, people just run over you, man. Like,
Yeah, especially in Cali.
for
Cali's
sure.
off the chain with that. You go to different states and it's different.
No respect, you know, like people are so self-entitled, man, you know, and I just watched some cat got murdered over a mask. You know what I mean? Like,
Wow,
two dudes, two of the homies beat him to death, you know, over a mask, him not wanting to wear a mask or something.
that's
That crazy,
crazy.
bro? It's crazy.
That is. They're
You know,
basically policing. They basically got us policing each other, man.
for sure.
They're. You even got the governor coming on talking about he's going to reward
Tellers, yeah.
snitching,
Snitch, yeah.
or for telling on their fellow neighbors, and that's crazy, bro. When I heard that dude say that,
He said, Snitches used to get
Yeah,
stitches, you know what
there
I mean?
you go. There you go.
Snitches used to get put in ditches, and now snitches are getting rewarded. You know
That
what
tripped me out, man. When I heard that coming from the governor, bro, I was like, what? Where the hell are we living at, man? Like,
I mean?
what?
Angelos. What does he call us? Angelos? What does he call
Yeah,
us?
Anglo, yeah.
Is that what he says all the time? My, Angel,
Anglos, yeah, the fellow Los Angeles, yeah, Angelos.
Angelos, yeah. I'm like,
Yeah.
sounds like an ice cream parlor, man. You know what I mean? So yeah, but it's crazy out here, bro. You know what I mean? Is this affecting you over there?
uh, yeah, it's pretty much the same, bro. It's pretty much the same. You gotta, me personally, I don't wear that mask, bro, unless I'm gonna go into the store. But when I go in, I take that thing off, bro. I'm not, I, I, I can't even breathe in that thing. It fogs up my glasses.
Mine too, man.
You know, and I no, you know, no disrespect to anybody that does. I mean, like my wife, she uses it, bro, and I'm not knocking people that do. But personally, I kind of see it. It's more like a psychological thing. I think that this is just my opinion. I think that they're preparing people for and this might sound a little way out, kind of taking it off subject, but there's some scriptures in Revelation where it talks about the mark of the beast, and you're not going to be able to buy or sell in the future if you don't have this mark. So I kind of think they're preparing people, bro, to where you have to
Comply with everything.
yeah, you have to comply with anything they
Here,
say,
wear a mask. You know what I mean?
if you don't, you're pretty much screwed, man. You ain't gonna be able to. You ain't gonna be able to. How do you say? Basically, live in society. You ain't gonna be able to do anything, man. You ain't gonna
put a scarlet letter on you or something. You know what I mean? If he's not a complier, he won't comply. You know?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we are off subject a little bit on that, but yeah, I totally agree with you, man. You know, like it's to control the masses, you got to start something small. You know what I mean?
It's kind of like an experiment. I see it like an experiment, bro. Like they're kind of feeling it out, see how society's gonna react. And for the most part, everybody's complying, man. You know, there are people that are kind of against it.
It goes to show you turn into a giant herd of sheep, bro.
Yeah.
You know? And I don't know about you, but I didn't join gangbanging to become a sheep. You know what I mean? I've always been an individual thinker.
Independent thinker.
My own thinking has gotten me twisted up into some bad situations. You know what I mean? It's also carried me through life. You know, which people like you and I and birds of a feather flock together. I could see that you'll probably be somebody that I stay in touch with after the channel, you know, because we got a lot
no
of
doubt.
Time. But I want to avoid, how do I say this? Because I don't want it to seem like we're different, but I'm trying to avoid some of these kids from having to suffer as hard as we suffered to get where we are. You know what I mean? Like,
of course.
Take our knowledge and fucking avoid all the bullshit, you know what I mean? But for people like you and I, calipalos, is that what it's called? You know what I mean? Like, we had to go that hard road. We had to go that path, you know what I mean?
That's how I see it. I think some people have to go through certain things in order for others not to, man. If you can learn from other people's mistakes, that's actually being wise, man. And
he had to die so that I could live. You know what I mean? Like,
yes, sir.
We say that all the time in the rooms, man. You know what I mean? Hey, he died so that you could live, bro. Fucking learn from his mistake, you know? And it's a painful truth, man. It's a hard truth.
That's the objective, man. Hopefully, it probably won't be a big percentage, but if even 2, 3, 4%, man, can gain something from it, then hey, we're doing what we're supposed to do, you know?
I know a little bit about your story because you've told me, but you got mixed up into some serious shit after you got out the last time. But here you were thinking you had half a foot on the I should do right car. You know what I mean? Like I'm tired of prison, blah, blah, blah. And then lo and behold, an all-day situation jumps into your face. You want to answer that?
Yeah, I was I was forced back into it. Just by life circumstances. So when I got out in 2008, after those 4 years, I went in to see my parole officer. And when I walked into his office, there was two homicide detectives. There was two gang unit guys, you know, the guys with the green jackets, my pro officer, and they started trying to question me about a murder that occurred 10 years prior in 1998. It was one of my homeboys actually from my neighborhood, my older homeboy that got killed. And then they tried to question me, and I didn't cooperate, and so they slapped the cuffs on me, and I spent the next 5 years in the LA County Jail fighting that case. And I was kind of by kind of like what your similar situation, like where you told your attorney, you know, kind of like pump your brakes, and you gotta, you know, I mean, you wanted to take the lead, and which is a good thing, man. In my case, if I would not have done that, I wouldn't be here speaking to you. Initially I had an attorney that my family paid for, and it was a female. She was a good attorney, but the money wasn't right, man. You know, unfortunately, I you know, I mean, I didn't have money like that, and I had to let her go. I actually think that the how do you call it, the prosecution, I believe that the DA, the prosecution, turned her against me, and then because her tune changed. Like at first she was like real gung ho, like, okay, we got this, they don't have a case. And then a couple months later, her whole demeanor changed, bro. And you know us being in prison, like we catch on to that quick.
For sure.
And yeah, so you know, I started questioning her about it, and I just told her, you know what, tell me the truth, man. Like if you ain't willing to fight for me, it's fine, man. You know, I mean, I understand the money isn't right, but you know, at least, you know, my life is in your hands, man. At least tell me the truth, and you can walk away, you know. And so she kind of told me there's certain things attorneys are not supposed to tell you. They're not supposed to tell you to seek different counsel. They're not supposed to tell you go pro per. Because I told her I'll go pro per if I have to. So she kind of told me to do that without really telling me.
Yeah, I got it. It's written it was written on the wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that's what I did. And then I went pro per, but they forced me into my prelim. And so I had to retain counsel again. This dude was like a straight district attorney, bro. This guy was, you know what I mean? This dude pretty much told me that he thinks I'm guilty without saying it, but he pretty much did say it.
One of them dudes that would be like, I get you 15 years for running the red light. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but this dude was like, the numbers were like way, like this guy was crazy, man. And so that changed.
With the homicide, one of your homeboys was killed, you're saying?
Yeah, one of my
homeboys. And they thought it was within the car. They thought it was they thought somebody in your guys' clique did it, and they're saying that it was you.
Yeah, what happened was one of my co-defendants, he got arrested in 2001. He was in jail in prison for another case, and they filed the murder charges on him like around 2001, 2000, somewhere around there, 2002. And they had him dead bang, bro, knocking on the door. Just real quick, the case is pretty much that he knocked on the door, the dude came out, and next thing you know, he gets killed. So they had him kind of dead bang, and he ended up pleading guilty, bro. He had made a statement that he didn't want to get out, bro. In 1999, he made a statement that they were recording him. He didn't know they were recording him. And so fast forward to 2007, they go and visit him in Calipatria State Prison, and they wanted to use him to get to me and to get to my other co-defendant that was in Pelican Bay, which was about to get released. And he decided to help them, and that's when they came and got him. They got me. They got another co-defendant, which is also doing life for this case now. And that's pretty much how it went down, bro. They used him.
So what did he get out of the deal?
Well,
besides putting the hat, you know what I mean?
They started using him for even other cases. And from what I know, he's actually out now.
Nice.
Yeah. So that worked pretty good for him. But that's how it went down, bro. Uh, so
So
back
there was three of you on the case, right? That
there
guy?
was five of us, bro.
Okay.
There was five. One of them was never charged. Okay, they never charged him. You got the guy that I told you that ended
Died in
up.
county?
No, okay, that's one of them. That's
Okay.
another one.
So one of your co-defendants died in Los Angeles
He
County.
overdosed in the county. He
Right.
actually went to trial. He actually went to trial. I don't know what year, but he got a hung jury of 9 not guilty
Wow.
and 3 guilty. So they filed more charges on him, separate charges that had unrelated to the case, because he was kind of like a high profile guy that they were trying to get. And you know, we were in 1750 together, which is high power, for like 3 years, you know, and they separated. It was the same case number, but they severed the case because I was pro per. The judge in CCB, he didn't want me messing up the case, so he separated me.